It's when you can make yourself right at home. It's when we do life together. And doing nothing together is better than doing everything alone. It's when we overlook each other's faults.
Hey, forgot my toothbrush, so I just used yours, the one that was in here.
And make each other better. It's when life wouldn't feel complete without every single one of us. It's when friends feel more like family. That's family.
Well, good morning. My name's Kevin, if we haven't met. Glad you're here this morning. We're going to wrap up this family series today. We're going to put a bow on that. And so hopefully it's been good. Hopefully it's been a good summer thing for you. And there's been a lot going on as we've been in the middle of this. And honestly, at Bayside, we care. We deeply care. We are invested in families because chances are more people will become more like Jesus most frequently in their homes. That's your biggest mission field is right there. So we believe in watching families grow together. It's why, Rod a couple weeks ago took a bunch of middle schoolers to a camp because nobody should ever take a bunch of middle schoolers anywhere. And he took, that's just a fact, but he took a group of them up to Gainesville and they had this awesome camp and they worshiped and they learned about Jesus. That's why we're committed to doing things like that. That's why Rod this week, as if he doesn't have enough bad ideas, he's taking a bunch of high schoolers to Daytona this week. They leave tomorrow. You can be praying for them this week as they go over to a camp as well. It's why we do things like kids camp. I thought Jeannie and just that whole crew that pulled off Everest was just a phenomenal week, wasn't it? And my kids are still talking about it. They still want to sing My God is Powerful every night before bed. And I'm not going to lie, I'm getting tired of the hand motions. But But it's why we do things like that, is because we want to invest in the family. In this series, that's why we do things like Pinewood Derbies, is so you have a place for your family. So this series hopefully has been really good for you, and we're going to wrap that up today. And we want to empower you as parents and as adults in your home to be able to be the spiritual leaders of your family, because we can't do that. We can't be the primary spiritual influences of your family as much as we want to be and whatnot. We're not with your kids as much. My son, Oliver, he can't wait to come to church every single Sunday. He loves church. And so as soon as we drive on the campus, as soon as we're here, he starts going, Jesus class, Jesus. He calls it Jesus class. I don't know why. He's like, go to Jesus class? Can I go to Jesus class? He's so excited about Jesus class. And so he runs in here, he runs back through those doors, and Mr. Ken and Miss Becky are in that classroom. And they love him and they take care of him, and they are rock stars to Oliver. Like, he adores them. Mom and dad are very much secondary on this list. Ken and Becky have hung the moon, maybe literally. And so so he runs back there to Jesus class. He can't wait to get there. But the truth is, they have Oliver for like an hour or 2 hours a week, and they do very well with him, and they love him, and they teach him about Jesus. But my wife and I have him the rest of the hours of the week. Like in the morning, he's always there. And even like through the night time, he's always there. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, if anybody wants to borrow a kid for a little bit, just let us know. We've got extras. But we believe in the power of family. We think it's so important. And today we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to go into a section of family that's kind of a different angle. But I want to talk about family this morning, and I want to tell you a little bit about my family. My family, when I was young, I was born. Apparently I'm going to start all the way back when I was born, so sit tight. It's going to be a tidy 3 hours. So when I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. I don't think there's another Daytona Beach, so I guess just Daytona Beach. And I was born there, and when I was 2.5 years old, we moved into a brand new house. Now, my dad had constructed this house from scratch. He had gotten his friends together, and they built this house. He was so proud of this house. And it was, to this day, one of my favorite structures I've ever seen. I loved it. It was a brick home, which you didn't see a lot in Daytona. It had a fireplace for some reason. And we had this tile floor. As you walked in, there was a banister that went up to the second floor. And the whole second floor and all those stairs, everything on the second floor was this perfect, bright, white, pristine carpet. And which is a great decision when you have children. And so there was this carpet upstairs. And so our first night in the house, literally first night, we had just moved into the house. First night we're there. I'm doing apparently what I think I should do to break in this house, and I'm going to the bathroom. And so I'm 2.5 years old, and I'm by myself in this bathroom. And my brother was supposed to watch me and make sure I was okay because I'm 2.5, but he kind of got bored, and also it was a little weird for him. And so he left the room. And so it's just me. And so I'm in this bathroom alone, and I'm doing my thing, and I thought, I need to get some toilet paper. And so I reach over for this toilet paper. Now, the toilet paper holder was porcelain. And my dad, at one point, decided he needed to get off the ladder really fast when they were building the house, and he broke the corner off of the porcelain toilet paper holder. And there was this jagged edge there that was very sharp. But they didn't fix it because who would be dumb enough to injure themselves on a toilet paper holder, right? And so I'm reaching over for this toilet paper, and as I'm reaching, it turns out the wall in this house is a little bit further away than the wall in the old house. So I'm reaching over, and the wall seems very elusive, and I keep reaching, and eventually I start to lose my balance. And my body starts to come off of the toilet, and I start to fall, and my body's hurling towards the ground, and my nose, the only nose I will ever have in this life, the one nose that God blessed me with, apparently it was too large, and it was protruding from my face too far. And as I fell, my nose caught the corner of this toilet paper holder, and it ripped it wide open. And so now I'm laying on the white carpet in the bathroom, bleeding, and my family comes running as they hear the screams. And so my brother comes in, and he immediately leaves because he knows he's going to be in trouble. And my sister comes in, and she notices, oh, it's just Kevin. And so she leaves. And so my mom and dad run in, and they're standing over me, and I'm just laying there in my own blood and probably urine because I was scared, let's be honest. And so I'm laying there, and they stand over me, and you can see, and so they have this argument. Now my mom does this thing, I think it's a mom thing, I think all moms do this, where as you get louder, volume-wise, your pitch gets higher in your voice, right? So you get louder and higher and louder and higher. And soon she is at this frequency that only dogs hear. And so animals from all over the neighborhood are running to our house, and there's windows breaking and glasses in the cabinet shattering. And she's screaming at my dad, Roger, we have to do something. And he has no idea what she's saying, right? And so I'm laying there while they have this moment together. They decided to put me on a towel, much like a stretcher, because they didn't want to get blood everywhere, and they thought this was the best mechanism, also because they didn't love me. And so they carried me down the stairs, through the white carpet, into the car. They put me in the car, we go to the hospital, where I had to get a bunch of stitches in my nose to hold it together. And my brother had to stay home consoling himself with his failure by watching Rescue 911, which really wasn't helpful. And so I had to get these stitches in my nose. I still have the scar today on my nose. And the thing about family that I found is that no one understands your scars like your family does. No one understands your hurts and your pain like your family does. But on the flip side of that, no one can scar you the way that your family can. Nothing can hurt you the way that your early wounds can. And so I want to talk about that just a little bit today and what that looked like for me. One of my scars got reopened a few years ago. And we were sitting at this restaurant, and we were in North Washington, where we used to live, up north of Seattle. And so when you're in a restaurant out there, there's just a lot of Birkenstocks with socks underneath them. And that's kind of the life you live. A lot of people wear bicycle helmets in the restaurants. I don't know if they're surgically attached. I don't know if they don't come off. But they like sit there and eat, just showing everybody, hey, I rode my bike here. I actually love the earth. So that's a true story. So we're sitting in this restaurant, and we're sitting across from this couple. Now, I am always about finding mentors in the parenting process. I've always been about that. The other day, I had lunch with John Thorington, and we sat down, and one of the first questions I asked him is, John, what did you do? Because your daughters are awesome. What did you do? Just give me any tips you can. And I started to write down on a napkin, and he said, if only I was a tenth as good of a father as my dad was, I'd be the second best dad on earth. And so he had this awesome history and this awesome lineage. And so I'm always looking for that. And so this was we were 7 months pregnant, and by we, I mean my wife. We're 7 months pregnant. And so we were having dinner with this family, this couple that we knew. They were older than us. They were family life counselors and also pastors on staff with us. And we loved their kids, and we loved getting to know them. And so we were sitting down having dinner. Now, when you're 7 months pregnant, the conversation's only going to be about one thing, right? You're just going to talk about this baby and what it's going to be like and how awesome it's going to be and how no matter how bad it is, it's always going to be great, right? And you're going to have this conversation. It's going to be a really, really good conversation. We had a great time. We're sitting there, and the restaurant is loud, and it's all concrete block, and there's a brewery attached to it. And so there's stuff going on over there that's really loud. There's a pianist playing, and there's waiters and waitresses coming buzzing by us. It's so loud. And this woman, her name's Pam, and Pam looks at Marie. She looks at my wife, and she asks this question that's very innocent. And she goes, she didn't mean anything by it, but she goes, Marie, I bet your dad can't wait to be a grandpa. And she just said that, and it was like the whole place went silent. It was like the cone of silence from like Get Smart dropped over me, and I was by myself, and suddenly I couldn't hear anything going on. And there was still action. There was still a pianist playing. There were still drinks being spilled. There were still waiters and waitresses going all over the place. But I was now in my own bubble. And it was so bizarre. It was like everything went black and white, and I just went in my own head for just a few seconds. And it took me back, and my family journey took a really swift turn. One of my greatest scars happened when I was 9 years old. As I've shared before, my dad died when I was 9 years old. And there was this moment right in that spot where I felt like I was a 9-year-old all over again. I was like, what just happened? I'm sitting there with this silence and thinking through it. And in those moments, like it was like the world stopped, and I was thinking about when I was a 9-year-old. And the hurt came back, and the pain came back, and it changed everything about me. When you lose your dad, some of you know what I'm talking about when I talk about this. When you lose your dad, you lose your foundation. You lose so much of who you are. What do you ask people when you meet kids? What do kids talk about? My dad can beat up your dad, right? You hear things like, what does your dad do for a living? It defines you. You literally have the dude's last name. It takes away everything you're used to. Everything is gone. You have a new reality. And in that moment, I felt that, and I started thinking about what I had gone through and some of the process I'd gone through. A few years back, I read a book by Donald Miller. It's called To Own a Dragon. If you're ever in this situation, this book is fantastic. And in the first couple chapters, Donald Miller talks about this documentary that you should check out. And he was like, it's a great documentary about elephants. And so because I'm super cool, and because I have a lot of free time, I went and rented a National Geographic documentary about elephants. And so on a Friday night, I popped that in. I know you're all wanting to hang out with me now. But I got this DVD, and yes, it comes on DVD. It's not just VHS. I mean, this is high quality stuff. And I got this DVD, and I put it in, and it's about these elephants. And so I'm watching this elephant, and it's about this young elephant who loses his dad. And this young elephant loses his father. And immediately when any young adolescent elephant loses its father, the first thing that male elephant does is a yellow pus starts running down its leg. I know this is a really beautiful visual right here, I'm sorry. But I don't know why I'm doing that, but a yellow pus starts to run down its leg. And they don't know why or where it comes from, it just happens. There's this pus that runs down its leg, and that young elephant becomes very, very angry. It just naturally becomes angry. And so it starts running over trees for some reason. It starts picking fights with rhinoceri and I don't know either one of the hippopotamuses. Anyways, it starts picking fights with animals that it normally wouldn't pick fights with. And it starts being angry, something about it. And you can tell, as I'm watching this video, you can tell this thing's like, I'm big, I'm powerful, I'm strong, but I don't know what to do with it. I have no idea. Can somebody show me how to act? And so I'm watching this documentary, and I'm literally like starting to tear up. about an elephant who lost his dad somewhere in Africa. It's like when you watch March of the Penguins, and Morgan Freeman's voice just makes you cry anyways, because it is the voice of God. And so you're sitting there and you're like, that mother penguin came back. They always know when to come back. And so I was like that. I was like tearing up. I was like, there's an elephant on the screen. But I felt myself in that elephant's shoes. I felt myself being in the same place as that elephant. I could feel it. And growing up without a dad, you have this idea that there's two camps. There's basically the camp of kids that have a dad and they have the keys to the world. They know things that you'll never know. They know things you'll never understand, and they have dads. Then there's this group of kids that don't have dads and they know nothing. And something's different and you're awkward and it's painful and you just feel like you're missing something. And some of you know what that feels like because maybe you didn't have a dad because of divorce. Maybe it was because you just had an abandonment of a dad. Maybe it was death. So you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that, but there's a feeling of I'm missing something that seems really painful and it seems really powerful if I had it. For instance, when I was in middle school, my first time shaving,
I was probably in like sixth grade. I was super manly, so I was really young when I started shaving. And sorry, I'm not gonna talk like that anymore. But my first time shaving, I go into the bathroom and I have a shaving cream put on my face. I think in the right sections. I'm not really sure because really I just have this peach fuzz that needs to be worked on. But I put it across my entire face, right? And so I'm standing there and I have this razor that it's one of those disposable ones that's just ripe for like bursting an artery. And so I got that thing ready to go. And I'm feeling pretty good. And I'm about to shave and my mom walks by the bathroom door and she sees what's happening. And then she comes in and there's a sink next to it. And she goes to the sink next to me and she takes the shaving cream and she puts it on her face. I looked at her, I said, Mom, what are you doing? She goes, I'm gonna help you learn how to shave. I said, Mom, I would literally rather cut myself 1,000,000 times in the face than see you shave your face. I'm already in middle school, I got enough problems of my own. I don't need people finding out that my mom shaved her face in front of me. Now that's not to fault my mom. She did the best she could. She was amazing. She literally, the best she possibly could have done, especially with me as her child, she did it. She was so great. So I'm not faulting her for that. She did what she could. But there was a moment there where I was like, I really would like to have a dad instead of a mom who has shaving cream on her face right now. And you feel this awkwardness and you feel this pain. And so I flash back into this restaurant. Come back with me to the restaurant where I'm sitting there in this cone of silence and I'm having this moment. And literally, it was probably 5 seconds long, but in that moment, I went through all 5 stages of grief and I went all the way from denial to acceptance all over again. It all happened so fast. And so I left the restaurant and I was talking to my wife. I said, Maria, I don't know what happened, but something weird was going on in there. And so later that night, she said, why don't you journal about it? So I pull out a journal and I'm writing about this experience that I just had. And I basically wrote down 2 paths as a dad who was 2 months away from having a child. And I wrote down, I said, there's basically 2 ideas I have here, because one is I just pack it up. I don't try. I disengage from this child because, let's face it, I'm an emotional wreck. I'm not even sure I'm qualified to be in a serious relationship with my wife, let alone with a child. I got my own problems here. And I could pack it up and say, I'm not gonna engage with this. I'm gonna walk away from this. I'm gonna keep my distance from this child. The other path that I wrote down, and I wrote these words, was that I never wanted my kids to feel the pain that I had felt. I would do anything it took to make sure that they never felt that awkwardness, that pain. I would do all that I could to make sure they never felt the pain that I felt as a kid. That I was gonna right the wrongs that had been committed in my own life. That I was gonna change the narrative, that it was gonna be a whole new thing. But that's a terrifying thought, to have to do that. And I drew a picture of a tree. I just drew this picture of a tree, and it was a tree that had been chopped down. And it was a tree that had basically from the roots been chopped down. And it was kind of symbolizing my family tree. And I thought, without my dad, our family tree starts over. And that's a terrifying thing. I realized that I had never been upset with my dad for missing my graduations or my wedding or any of those things. I was upset now that my dad wouldn't be there for me as a father, that I couldn't pick up the phone and call him and say, hey, what do I do about this or that? That he wouldn't be there for my kids, he wouldn't be at their weddings and their graduations. And I felt robbed all over again in a whole new way. I drew this tree, and I felt like, how in the world do I replant this tree that has been torn down by its roots? And I thought, I'm not qualified to do that. And now, I don't have the lineage, I don't have the history to go behind me to make this a strong family tree. There's a verse in Psalm 68, verse 5. It says that, and David writes just these simple words, but he says, God is a father to the fatherless. And those words have never been more needed than maybe by me. And here's what it made me realize. It's not a cliche thing to say God's the father to the fatherless. That sounds good, like that God replaces your earthly dad, and that might be true to some extent. But I wasn't about God replacing my earthly dad. What I was interested in is that he was my father. Therefore, I didn't have to make the foundation of my family. The foundation of my family was not built on me. The foundation of my family was not built on my dad. The foundation of my family should only be built on God. He is the only one to found this family on. And if I look at it and I say, well, I'm going to found my family on me and my strengths or my weaknesses, or I'm going to found my family on my dad and his strengths and his weaknesses, then I have failed, because I'm going to be fallible and I'm going to be simple and I'm going to be temporary. But if I found it on God, the creator, the sustainer of life, then I have a permanent, eternal bond as a family. Our roots have been established, not by me, but by our God. And I realized I have to get out of the way. There's a different lineage here. Some of you know about lineage, some of you know about family trees. Some of you know about crazy uncles that are in that family tree. If you're sitting here thinking, I don't think my family has one of those, you're probably him. And your lineage goes back, and there's people in that lineage that you're not proud of, and there's things in that lineage. It may not just be a dad that wasn't there. It may be a family issue, an event, or a person that you are not proud of. There are parts of your family that you didn't want your spouse to know about before you married them, right? There's those people, let's not kid ourselves, who didn't get the wedding invite. It wasn't just lost in the mail, right? I have an uncle, his name is Carmel. I've mentioned this before. That's a true story. His name is Carmel. Now, Carmel is married to a gal named Ruth. But Ruth has a sister named Junice, and Junice is married to a guy named Bud, whose real name is not Bud, it's Zen. He's from Zoe, Kentucky. So Zen from Zoe is married to Junice, who is sisters with Ruth, who is married to Carmel. Now, they are sisters of my grandfather, whose name is Geraldine. But Geraldine has a brother named Harold Jean. So you've got Geraldine and Harold Jean, who has sisters named Ruth and Junice, who are married to both Carmel and Zen from Zoe. You can't make this up. Most of them are from Kentucky. That goes without saying. You have that part of your family tree that you're not necessarily proud of. You have that part that you didn't want your spouse to know about. You don't want your relatives to even, you don't really come in contact with them. Everybody has that part. And Jesus even has this kind of lineage in his past, where he has parts that are not good. He has adulterers. He has murderers. In his own past, he has prostitutes in his own lineage. Jesus has this. Now, Luke does this amazing thing when he chronicles Jesus' lineage. When he looks back at this heritage that Jesus had, and he looks back generation to generation to generation, Luke does this really cool thing. Now, Matthew, he does it up front. First thing in the book is, here's Jesus' lineage. But Luke doesn't do that. Luke waits, and he waits until a specific time. And we've looked at this before, but in Luke chapter 3, Jesus is getting baptized. And Jesus is getting baptized, and this is a huge moment, but Luke kind of spends just a little bit of time on this. And he says that Jesus was baptized, and it says, when all the people were being baptized, Jesus too was baptized. As he was praying, heaven was opened, and the Holy Spirit descended on him in bodily form like a dove. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased." So Jesus is being baptized. God opens the heavens. And again, this is the first time we see God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus all in the same location at one moment. And God speaks from heaven, and he claims his son, saying, "That's my son, and I'm proud of him." But after that is when Luke decides to give us a lineage of who Jesus was. And this is going to be a really exciting venture. Here we go. Now, Jesus himself was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. He was the son, so it was thought, of Joseph. Now, we all get that, right? So it was thought he was the son of Joseph, right? We all get that. That was the idea that people had, was he was the son of Joseph. But it goes back. The son of Heli, the son of Mathat, the son of Levi, the son of Melchi, the son of Janae. Janae also starred in Forrest Gump, if you remember. The son of Joseph, the son of Mattathias, the son of Amos, the son of Nahum, the son of Esli, the son of Nagai, the son of Math, the son of Mattathias, the son of Simeon, the son of Joseph, the son of Joda, the son of Joanan, the son of Resa, the son of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the son of Neri, the son of Melchi, the son of Addi, the son of Kosam, the son of Elmadam, the son of the son of Joshua, the son of Eleazar, the son of Joram, the son of Mathod, the son of Levi, the son of Simeon, the son of Judah, the son of Joseph, the son of Jonan, the son of Eliakim, the son of Meleah, the son of Menon, the son of Mathat, the son of Nathan, the son of David, the son of Jesse, the son of Obed, the son of Boaz, the son of Salmon, the son of Nashon, the son of Abinadab, the son of Ram, the son of Hezron, the son of Perez, the son of Judah, the son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, the son of Terah, the son of Nahor, the son of Serug, the son of Ru, the son of Peleg, the son of Eber, the son of Shelah, the son of Canaan, the son of Arphaxad, that's my favorite, the son of Shem, the son of Noah, the son of Lamech, the son of Methuselah, the son of Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mahela, the son of Kenan, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of God. I'm just going to take a second. I'm a little lightheaded. So Luke could have stopped here. Notice where he could have stopped. He could have stopped with Adam. Right? We all know that humanly we all come from Adam, and our lineage is traced back to Adam. He could have stopped there. But notice what he says. Jesus wasn't the son of Adam, he was the son of God. And if you look at that beautiful picture that it paints, because that's not just about Jesus. Jesus isn't the only one we're talking about here, because here's the thing. Remember what 1 John chapter 3 says, that you and I are also sons and daughters of God. It says, how deep is the love the Father has lavished on us, that we would be called the children of God, and that is what we are. We are the children of God as well. And if you look at this verse, it gives so much hope. The son, so it was thought of Joseph, the son of Adam, but he was really, who was he really? He was the son of God. And for you and I, there are probably moments where you think that you're the son of something else, where your lineage is broken, where something bad happened. But I want to tell you, you're not the son of that alcoholic father. You're the son of God. You're not the daughter of that abusive mother. You're the daughter of God. You are not defined by your last name here on earth. You are not defined by an event in your past. You are the son, you are the daughter, not of an earthly parent, but of God. And if you need to rewrite your history, God is willing to do that because you belong to him. He is the foundation of our families. He is the one we go back to. He is willing to take us in as his own. It says in Galatians 4, there's this great verse. And I'll close with this. In Galatians 4, it says this. Paul writes, but when the set time had fully come, God sent his son. God sent his son, Jesus. He was born under the law, meaning he was born as an earthly person just like you and I. And he was born under some baggage. He was born under some history. He was born under a bad lineage. He was born under that law that we might receive adoption to sonship. Because you are his sons, God sent the Spirit of his sons into our hearts. The Spirit who calls out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but God's child. And since you are his child, God has also made you an heir. You are no longer a slave to your last name. You are no longer a slave to your past. You are no longer a slave to the earthly things that define family, the good and the bad. You are a child of God. You are an heir of God. That's what defines you. And some of you may be feeling like you need to recommit that to God. Some of you may be thinking that there's something specific in your mind that you have felt, something that you have had in your past that you want to pray about and that you want to let God have it and say, you know what, God, I'm tired of holding on to this because I'm ready to be your child and yours only. Maybe there's some things in your past that you want to let go of, but maybe there's also a time where you've never actually said to God, I want to be your child. And today we want to take time for you to be able to do that. We want to just bask in the fact that we are not just slaves of this earth, but that we are children of God. And so I've asked Annie to sing this song. And as we do, the altars are going to be open, and you're welcome to come down and pray. You're welcome to stay where you are and pray as she sings this song, and you can just listen to the words. But today, let's remember as a church and as a body, as a family, that we're no longer slaves to our last name. We're no longer slaves to the scars that have held us back. We're children, we're sons, we're daughters of the maker and the sustainer of this earth. So if you would just listen to this song as Annie sings it. Pray as we close together. Father, we thank you so much that we have been adopted into your family. And Father, we know it's not by anything we've done. We know that we don't deserve that we don't earn that. We thank you for your great love that has pursued us and adopted us. And God, I thank you so much that we stand on a new foundation. I thank you so much that we're not defined by our past. Thank you so much that we're not defined by others' past. So God, I pray that we would walk out of here in freedom, in a new light, knowing whose we are, who we belong to. Praising your name. Everybody said together. Amen. Amen. Thanks for being here today. We'll see you next week when we start a new series through James. Have a great week.